have a very long official title, but you may simply address me as Zaka. The young ones will harp on and on about our strict traditions, but I'm old enough to get away with it. So I do. My role is that of a keeper of tales. I was chosen by my predecessor, rather than being allowed to become a Dekara or perform other duties. I'm not permitted near combat, for the stories I keep are one of our most valuable resources. We understand the plains of Vastiri through the lens of these words handed down to us over the centuries. We see what used to lie where sand dwells now, and hear the bold proclamations and lamentations of yesteryear. That is my role, to be the worldly eyes and ears of the Ardura. Ah, the horn. How to condense a 7-day tale. It was created during Obala's 8th adventure, her final quest before becoming the Sekama of Sekamas. She wrested control of the 3 elements. Her trusty war steed, the great mastodon Ekbab, gave its tusks for the carving and the channeling of lightning. The essence of water was a secret held at the heart of Keth. And primordial fire must be earned from those that originally brought it to Rayclast. We will find them at the Valley of Titans. Yes, those are the 3 elements we will need. Stay in sight.
Whip it up a storm! hatches! No rest for the wicked, eh? Bagged myself a big un. Down the hatches! Reckon I'll add a few more bones to the pile.
Greetings. Asala has agreed to aid us, exactly as I expected. The beast represents an existential threat to all the peoples of Rayclast, but even beyond that, she seems to be quite driven. She reminds me of a rambunctious young woman I once knew in Keth, who eventually rose to power, attained divinity, and led her people to greatness. I am accustomed to others shivering and turning away when my gaze falls upon them, but I must confess, for once the feeling is reversed. Although she is blind, I sometimes have the strangest notion that she is looking at me, even at night. It takes courage to go against one's people. I once faced a similar decision. There were men and women like me who believed themselves to be exceptional. And they were correct. Terribly, horribly correct. I cursed myself to a permanent exile from my own peers by betraying them. I was unlike mortals, but hated by immortals. I was alone. I would do it all again. And I still might. Go.
What? This is not the first time the sands and cells have been used against us. The necromancer of Weeping Black, Saresh, once waged war upon the Maraketh out of the nascent desert regions of that era. He commanded not only armies of the dead, but vast roiling storms as well. Hearing of this threat, Orbala set forth on a quest to master the elements, and in 3 places of power, she proved herself to the winds. Her reward came to be known as the Horn of the Vastiri. When she drew in a mighty breath and sounded the horn, it was so powerful. Every tent across the entire plains blew open. You can imagine what it did to the necromancer's sandstorms. Seizing their moment, the united Akaras stormed forth to savage the undead armies of Saresh. For this victory, Orbala was made the Sekama of Sekamas. And after ruling with strength and cunning for many years, later became our Queen of the Wind, greatest goddess of the Maraketh. Her divine name was Garukan, which means ultimate sovereign. The tales, unfortunately, make no further mention of the horn after that. This is the tale as it was told to me by our Akara's Tale Woman before me, and as told to her by the Tale Woman before her. These words have remained unchanged since the beginning. Many thousands of years ago, we were a simple people, hunters, roamers. We moved valley to valley in search of meat and berries. There was none of the discipline we know today, but that was about to change. These fair plains became barren and lightless. A time those generations called the winter of the world. 1,000 years of ice brought hardship and suffering, but that was only the beginning. To the south, the foreign tyrant An fell, and horrible creatures flooded forth under this darkness, seemingly born of bone and blood and foul magic. Survival meant banding together and creating the strict traditions that eventually became what we know today. To fight was to live. Disorder meant death. In the darkest depths of that era, when hope was but a memory, the twin sister Sekimas, Solarai and Landara, arose to unite our scattered peoples for the first time. They wielded the essence of gold and silver, gleaming with such ferocity that the grey skies had no choice but to give way. The creatures retreated under the sands, never to be seen again, and our fair plains blazed with emerald forests and sapphire rivers. This brought about the most glorious age of our people, a time of conquest, wealth, great heroes, and gods that lasted for another 1,000 years. But then, one fell winter, the gods vanished. Our beloved Garukan was the last to succumb, holding on for 2 moons against a powerful innovation. She gave what final orders she could, mandated our traditions be upheld, and then went silent. The Maraketh were not disturbed. We did not lose hope. We knew who we were, and those values had not left us with the departure of the gods. When the sky burned, when the Vaal fell, when the Eternals came and sought to be our masters, and then fell as well, we endured. We have protected these fair plains for 304 generations, and we will continue to do so for another 304. That is our duty and our birthright. She was a fierce warrior before she was blinded in battle. Focused, determined. Losing her sight has not changed that. I have no doubt that she will become skilled enough at blind fighting to rejoin the ranks someday. Indeed, blind Dekara were once instrumental in decimating an Eternal Legion during a sandstorm ambush. So it is not without precedent.
Weapon of a storm! The wind howls. The hunt is on! Batten down the hatches!
what have you learned? You have no idea how much restraint it requires to listen to tales of people and places I knew, yet not correct her. She's close, I shall grant her that. Often startlingly so. In certain details or sequences of events, but the spirit of what happened thousands of years ago, the essence of that life, it has been embellished. At other times, the stories convey only a pale shadow, and the true magnificence is lost. Or is it my memories that have drifted with time? I suppose we shall never know, because those days are gone, never to return. All that I'd once loved has been dust hundreds of years longer than you have even been alive. Those creatures are too coherent and intelligent to be manifestations of corruption. I suspect that they are the descendants of divine tampering. There was a being I once knew in the ancient days, a trickster, who would have appreciated someone to laugh at his ill-conceived humor. What more perfect audience for a sickening jester than a pack of gibbering hyenas? The Marraketh have a cultural history deeper than most know. Theirs is a strict tradition, bordering on brutal, but it is that adherence to shared beliefs that has kept them strong when entire empires have come and gone around them. Yes, I have seen the slaves pulling carts. I am uncomfortable with the practice, but from what I understand, it allows those captured in battle to serve rather than simply being executed. There are not enough resources to keep prisoners who do not work. In this harsh land, it is perhaps the lesser of two evils. That is, what I tell myself, at least. They call themselves the Farad'n in this era, but they have died out and been reborn many times. They are not an independent culture. They are the Marraketh's dark secret, the inevitable consequence of life's haphazard nature. A society cannot simply purge itself of the weak, the ill, or the disadvantaged. Those unwanted newborns abandoned among the dunes, they rarely die, no matter how much the Marraketh wish to make them simply disappear. No, they live. The Farad'n are the shadow of the Marraketh, always just out of sight, always watching. They rescue those children and raise them up on the outside, looking in. An unspoken relief for the father and mother that must give up their child. But a gathering storm fated to one day return home with a fury.
Batten down the hatches! against nature. Storm's coming!
It was a harsh life filled with pain. And I hated you every moment of it.
Can you ever forgive my mistake?
My king nears! He didn't want me.
At last. Death. Thank you. At last. Death. Thank you.
What have you learned? Ah, Keth. Now nothing but dunes of sand, but once it was glorious. The waters flowed in patterns crafted by artisans of skill beyond belief. The hanging gardens could impress even the most jaded heart. I was asleep during the era of Shaman-Ra. I cannot attest to the truth of Risu's tale, though I cannot say it is outside the realm of possibility. The Marraketh have strict traditions, erring on the side of brutal. Move swiftly.
What? Each young one is much like another. Ferrodin, Marraketh. What does it matter to an old woman? Others may scowl for letting Risu sit and listen to my stories, but none may order me silent. Desha, the city of the dead. In these harrowing times, one could be forgiven for thinking the risen dead live there, if that form of existence can even be called living. No. Long before we had to worry about the dead rising, we built towering spires to return our people to the sky. Our honored dead lie openly, enjoying the sun, not hidden from it under the earth. Over time, they are scoured away, becoming the wind and sand you feel on your skin at this very moment. Desha is our most sacred monument. I myself will soon make the journey there once I train a replacement. Most do wait for their bodies to fail, but I would prefer to meet death on my feet. Who knows? I may even be the first mortal to win my battle and defeat Nakrata in spiritual combat. It might not look like it now, but I was a rather powerful sorceress in my time. Shaman-Ra? That's a tale I rarely tell. Every few generations, the Ferrodins stir up trouble. Shaman-Ra was their most successful attempt at causing problems. A very long time ago, he spread dangerous ideas among the outcasts and spoke to the Marraketh as if they were equals. His offenses were so great, the Sekhmers joined together to approach and rebuke him. The tale says that he was so in awe of the glory of our leaders, he ended his own life and chose to fall forgotten in the sands. It is a strange conclusion to his tale, I must admit, but this is what is told. If he has been somehow reanimated through corruption, he will have only one goal: harming us. Do not wonder.
Need something? The risen king is dead once again. His tale is yet another tragic outcome of the harsh desert. At least this time the death was honorable. Asala did this intentionally, and I admire her for it. The Ferrodin have already begun the process of taking his body to Deshar for a proper sky burial. Asala allowed this. It feels like we could be stepping into the light of a new era for the Marraketh. I remember her face from before the battle where I lost my sight. She is quite beautiful, and she has strength and cunning to match. I can think of no better leader for us. We, Adora, have put all our faith in Asala, and though we do not number enough to spark divinity in her, we still thrived under her leadership. Zarka holds all the wisdom and knowledge of the Adura, and the stories of many other Akaras as well. Our traditions help us survive as these lands turn to dust over generations, and in many ways, that lush beauty still exists for us through her words. especially now the gods have returned to Rayclast. We know that our beliefs have power. Perhaps we can bring back those verdant forests and gleaming rivers, if only we have enough faith in a leader strong enough to make it real. When I face his direction, there is a faint impression. Even the sun does not intrude upon my blindness, so this is a new sensation for me. What am I seeing from your strange companion? Risu has proven herself, at least to me. She has spoken only the truth, and I believe she means well. In another life, we might have been fellow Dikara, or even friends. Publicly, I will decry them as loudly as anyone else. Privately, I understand. I do not condone their actions, but I have suffered some small portion of what they must feel their entire lives. To be honest, I expected them to turn on us eventually. Does the scorpion sting carry less poison at night? In the hopes of taking on fighting duty again, I am still practicing the art of the sword. Red-eyed Nasima, she of the second sight, proved that there is more to combat than mere vision. However, there is still honor in serving the role of tradesmith and weapon master. I served as a Dikara for as long as I was able, and I intend to fulfill this duty with just as much dedication. Long ago, when Keth was the shining jewel of the Vastiri, and our trade routes were the envy of the known world, a weak-willed Sekema named Balbala betrayed her Akara for a promise of Welakaf, a mythical elixir said to bestow great power. She led a band of foreign warriors through secret paths to the top of the Halani gates. Taken by surprise, the Akara was slain to the last woman. What was her reward? Not Welakath. The bandits put a spear through her gut in that very passage. A cautionary tale, yes. For her betrayal, the wise woman of that era enacted an ancient ritual, trapping Balbara's soul as a djinn for a sentence intended to be 1,000 years. Jingak, it has been far more than 1,000 years. By Zarka's reckoning, at least 2 or 3. The stain of Balbala's betrayal has been lifted from her legacy, yet the knowledge of her prison was lost long ago.
Batten down the hatches! with you.
Let these towers stand for all time, so that the sands may never swallow the honored dead. We give you to the sky and to the wind, in defiance of the doom of the desert.
Batten down the hatches!
You are relentless, but that makes you predictable. The time of the Faradin is nigh.
Back in your all!
How can I... Thank you.
Yes? This corruption that plagues the land, I cannot bring myself to fully believe it's the reason for my people's sickening turn. I know that when the beast first came to us, when Jaman-Ra was raised from death, he quickly became covetous and prone to fits of rage. Soon that fervor gleamed in the eyes of those around him. You say it's his corruption, but I have not seen anything in my brothers and sisters that was not already there. Corruption may exist, yes, but it does not fully control. It only excuses. The Faridun are warring against the Marakets because they desire to do so. They have always wanted this conflict. They want to make those who abandoned us suffer. I am of the Faridun. We are the shadows of the Maraket, the unwanted and the forgotten. Some time ago, a foreign woman came to us and offered us the power to take back what was ours. We took her deal. We had no idea what it would cost us. When she finally brought us the beast, it was not the glorious power we'd been promised. It was horrifying. Those of us who did not want to make war, those of us who were afraid of the beast, Jaman-Ra sealed us in the mine when his dreadnought was complete. This madness must end. Some may call me a traitor, but I do not seek the destruction of my brethren. I seek their salvation.
Give no quarter! Batten down the hatches. This ends now! Whipping up a storm!
find my king far more capable than Count Gianor. My king, take the power you were promised. Put an end to this nuisance.
Ah, the Sycamore of Yardura. Bow before your king. The era of the Faradun is now!
We're running out of time. End this.
My queen! Take the beast! I don't have time for this! Sands, bend to my will! Impede my enemies! Die! Foolish Sycamore!
Azala! She's still breathing.
This is not over. Not yet.
Shamandra! I return you to the embrace of death! It is done.
Greetings.
Cool winds. What is that being? Does it travel with you? I would tell you not to trust a mysterious stranger in black, but that would make my own situation rather difficult. The sight of that thing chilled my soul. Those of us who objected to its presence were forced to work, mining and finishing the dreadnought. By the time we were done, madness was already rife, and we were sealed in the mine to die for supposedly betraying our people. The Marraket abandoned us, but there is beauty in their strict traditions. They do not have a choice. The desert is a harsh sekema, as they say. Uniting as one people, combining our resources, that is the only way we can all live in peace. Meeting the Ardura is disconcerting. Like most Faridun, I was left to die in the desert as an infant. Perhaps someone here is my mother or father. I look at each of them, wondering what my life could have been. If they had wanted me. My people are full of anger and distrust. For reasons I hope are clear. They are blinded by this. Farewell.
Best think twice before doing that here.